Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video I'm going to try to figure out what is the rarest champion in Raid Shadow Legends. Which champion do people have the least? First, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video and for giving me this wonderful promo link down below in the description. There in the QR code. If you need a new Raid account, use this one, it's the best possible start. Tagoar, Venomage, Uugo and Deacon Armstrong. None of those are the rarest champion, but they are some really good champions. But what about the rarest champions? What candidates can we even have? Like there's Void Legendary champions are quite rare, then there's Mythical Champions, Faction Unity champions, some Earnable Champions and some IP collaborations that are only available for a limited time. So somewhere along those lines we should find the most rare champion in the game. Raid does not publish specific data about this, so we can't know for sure, but let's take a look at what can we know. So legendary Void champions are quite rare. You cannot get a Void legendary from a Sacred Shard or from a Primal Shard. You can only get them from Void Shards. And there have been a couple that have been in events, and Tuhanarak has been in promo code, so those are more common. But 0.5% chance from Void Shards. 1% during X2 events. X2 events are available for Void Shards on a regular basis, though roughly every 6 weeks. There are currently 88 Void Legendary Champions in the game. Some of them are earnable through fragments, for example, like Clan Shop and stuff, and 76 of them are from Shards. You get more than 10 Void Shards per month just playing the game, and of course, if you just buy them from the shop, then you can get unlimited quantities. And the latest addition to Void Legendaries is Cecilia the Red Hope, available from December 2025. So the rarest Void Legendary is no doubt Cecilia, because Cecilia has only been available for some weeks by now. But is Cecilia the rarest champion in the entire game? That is a little bit unlikely, because we also have Mythical Champions. And Mythical Champions can only be gained from Primal Shards, and it's 0.5% chance. So the same chance as with Void Shards, and that goes up to 1% during X2 events, but Mythical Primal Shard X2 events only happen a few times a year, so they're less common than the Void X2 events. You get these Primal Shards from Live Arena, you get them from events, you get a few per month. So you get fewer Primal Shards than you get Void Shards. Obviously though, these can also be purchased from the shop, so with real money you can get unlimited quantities. You can also summon Mythical Champions from Cursed Remnants, 2.5% chance. You can get up to 4 per month from Cursed City and from Grim Forest. And there are 29 Mythical Champions in the game, none of them are Void Champions. 24 of those come from Shards, and then there are 5 that can be earned. So there's Anaxia from Grim Forest. Well, no one has Anaxia yet, you cannot have had enough fragments from Grim Forest yet, it was just released. Then there's Polara Fireheart from completing hard faction wars with full 3 stars. So that is a huge accomplishment. And Polara is actually a pretty good candidate for the rarest champion in the game. Then there's Embers from Chimera, so much more common. Carnage from Hard Cursed City, again more common than Hard Faction Wars. And Ramantu from a Mission Chain. At the moment, the rarest mythical champion should be Arakoa Moonspinner, because Arakoa was only added in December 2025, not counting Anaxia, who has not been possible to earn yet. But Arakoa Moonspinner followed by that Polara, and of course Arakoa, as time goes on, Arakoa will become more and more common. But there are also other types of rare champions in this game, because there are Faction Unity Champions. Faction Unity Champions are legendary champions who give bonuses when you have multiple champions from that faction in your team, and they are only available during specific events, especially from Prism Crystals. Sometimes you can also pull them from Shards during a special event, but when there's no event going for a specific Faction Unity champion, there's no way to get them. So these are very rare. There's a whole bunch of them for each faction, and probably the rarest one of these is Swarm Speaker Cyclic, because Cyclic is like the worst one of these, so that would mean the least incentive to actually pull it, and that might make it the rarest one. There's also a whole bunch of champions that you need to earn by playing the game, and well, most of these you will eventually get them, like from Cursed City for example, or from Doom Tower. Just rotation after rotation you will eventually have them, and some of them require a long time, but they're not particularly difficult. But when it comes to time expenditure, there's one that stands out in particular, and that's High Mother Maud. Because Maud can only be acquired by trading away fragments of other champions that you have not completed, and then trading in for those Maud champions. So if you, for example, worked on some kind of fragment summon like Hilvi was the latest deck when I'm recording this, and you got to like 95 out of 100 and you were 5 fragments short, well, then you can trade your 95 fragments for a bunch of rolls for chests that may or may not contain Maud fragments. So this is as far as I have gotten with Maud. I have 5 fragments with Maud. Obviously, you could focus on trying to get Maud by not completing fragment fusions and then just waiting until you can trade those fragments, and then you can make progress. But yeah, Maud is very, very rare. Another earnable champion, although more of a purchasable champion, is Saoirse, the Chard, who requires 25,000 Plarium points. And you get Plarium points when you spend money on the game. But no one is going to spend thousands of dollars just to grab Saoirse. You can also get Plarium points as free to play because you get them from the daily login bonuses, especially if you play on PC or if you play in the APK version. Then that would take around 2,000 days. So it's not possible for anyone to have gotten it yet just from those daily login bonuses. And then, of course, some purchases on top. And this is my personal progress to CS. I'm at 3,557 points out of 25,000. And finally, there are IP collaborations champions that are only available for a limited time. And once they're gone, they are gone. So no one else can ever acquire them. Most of them have been easy to acquire when they have been available, so the majority of raid players who have played the game during that time should have them, but of course anyone who has come after or has skipped that, then they haven't gotten them. The oldest one is Alexander the Sharpshooter, modeled after Simple, the Counter-Strike player, and that's from 2021. So anyone who has started raid after 2021 just cannot have that champion. So that's probably the rarest. The hardest one to get was the Nergigant the Archer from the Monster Hunter collaboration. It was only available from shards and from finishing first in a tournament. And those tournaments for Nergigant the Archer were very competitive because Nergigant the Archer is a very good champion. So that's really, really hard to get. There has been another champion like that, potentially even a little bit more difficult because it's a Void Legendary, because Shredder from the Turtles campaign. But Shredder is much more recent, so out of people who are currently playing the game, more people will have Shredder than will have Nergigant the Archer, because that one is an older one. Shredder is a newer one. It was also much easier for an individual player to get Shredder, because people were focusing on Turtles. Shredder tournaments were not very popular. People didn't focus much on those. It was quite easy to win one if you really wanted to. But from the perspective of how many people in the entire population have this, well, obviously if it's #1 position in a tournament, then Nergigant the Archer was given to 1% of the player base and Shredder was given to 1% of the player base, so there's no difference in that sense. So Alexander, Nergigant the Archer, probably the rarest champions overall, maybe even, because they've been only available for a limited time. And then these faction unity champions are also really rare. And then there's that Polara Fireheart, 3-star hard faction wars. That is quite a feat, so super, super rare champion. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.